Okay, guys, nice to meet you. This is a crypto podcast headliners, and today I have a guest from the OKX. Is Jason. Jason is a Chief Innovation Officer in OKX. So the first question to you: what is the most excited innovation that you want to implement this year in OKX?
There's a lot. I mean, for OKX, we do quite a lot of things. We are an exchange. We also have a Web3 side of our business. We have a wallet. We're also launching our layer 2.
Oh, really?
A ZK EVM layer 2 later this year. We have brand partnerships, right? We're working with McLaren. We're working with Manchester City. We're launching in new markets. There's so many things that we're very excited about. And I'm happy to dive into anything you want to talk a little bit more about.
Let's start from the strategic partnership. This is the most, I think, maybe common question, but why exchanges invest in these type of things like the sponsorship to the football clubs, to the Formula One teams, etc. I know that affiliate marketing, influencers like me, I think the most maybe important source of their clients for the exchanges. But from the brand side, it looks like it costs you millions of dollars, all these partnerships. Why do we do this?
If you look at how big brands work, and we want to be a brand.
Big brand. Okay.
A big brand that has really strong outreach across the globe, across a wide audience. That's kind of where we want to be ultimately, right? Right now we're crypto industry, was still kind of new, right? People are trying to understand and learn and maybe trade and also play around with the wallet. So for us, by working with some of these brand partners, we really get an opportunity to work deeply with them to get their audience to get interested into Web3. So one example is what we've done in the past with Manchester City. Last year, they were very good and they won the Champions League.
Wow,
I don't
really?
Remember? Yeah.
How does it help you as an exchange?
Our logo, number one, being exposed to millions of fans,
soccer fans. So this is a brand awareness.
That's brand awareness, but then it's more than that, right? It's what is OKX, right? Like I see the logo, I maybe recognize it, but I need to learn more. Our marketing team always says that, for a user to sign on to your platform and start using your products, they need to be familiar with you over time, right? They need to see you multiple times. And that's part of it. But what we did with Manchester City last year after they won was we did a commemorative NFT drop. Like a Champions League limited edition. So any of the Manchester City fans can go use the OKX wallet, but they could also use their wallet, go and mint and create this moment to capture this thing. And this was, working with Manchester City, right? So it's not just you and me doing something. It's, the team is doing something. I think that's a very interesting way for getting new users in particular to learn about what is a digital collectible, right? Why should I use crypto? Why should I use a wallet? And so these are examples of experiments where we did one earlier last year too around sort of metaverse and have these players get into like the 3D avatar and all these things. And we also have the players themselves go and try our product and talk to their fans about why this is interesting to them. The deep partnerships that we have with our brand partners, Manchester City, McLaren, Tribeca, for example. That's the real kind of partnerships that we like, right? It's not just the brand, but it's trying to get people involved and into crypto and Web3.
What is OKX right now? Maybe what is your focus markets, or maybe what is number of users, or I don't know, any metrics that maybe you can share with me or with our audience?
I don't have the latest numbers.
No, it doesn't. Maybe for the 2023.
2023 was a good year. The latest numbers we talked about was we have 50 million users around the world. 50
million. Wow, it's a lot.
And we've also launched quite a lot of, so that's sort of overall. And then within our wallet product, our Web3 product, we've also seen tremendous growth there. I don't know how familiar you are with Bitcoin and Bitcoin ordinals.
I am familiar with Bitcoin. I heard about Bitcoin ordinals. This is NFT on
it's
a
like
Bitcoin.
It's like NFTs on Bitcoin.
And it will be a big drop for this. No, maybe not big drop, but this is the trend of the BRC20, etc. Yeah?
It was a big trend in the second half of the year. And, our wallet, we're building all these new features. And that's an example of a feature where we were really early, but also I think we did a decent job in making that product accessible to the users, and we got a lot of users and a lot of traction. I think at one point our market share for that emerging market space was almost 90%, for example, which was very good. Now it's sort of balanced out a little bit better, but I think that was a very good example of a good sign of all the growth we're seeing on our Web3 side also.
From the innovation or maybe product perspective, why do you choose to implement a Web3 wallet inside the OKX main app, but not to do a separate app for this? From my personal experience, every time that I switched by mistake to the Web3 wallet, I close it immediately and go back to my exchange. Why do you decided to do it in a main product?
We see a lot of our competitors go with 2 apps, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're still thinking and experimenting about this too. But initially our idea was, right, we're trying to get users to go from...
They don't need to install a new wallet.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, well, if I'm interested, why don't I just try it over here? So we try to lower the barrier for users to learn and explore.
Talking about this Web3 wallet, well, who is the main target audience for this? Or maybe what is the main use case for guys to use this Web3 wallet? Because from my perspective, like, okay, we can have, I don't know, MetaMask or Trust Wallet. It doesn't matter. This is like, a separate app that you create your own seed phrase. And I understand, wow, this is separate product. For the OKX, you have the whole bunch of products inside your platform. And then, wow, Web3 wallet, please create your own wallet. And why do I need to use it? What is the most common use case for it?
Our focus audience is, like I said earlier, making that jump from central exchange, Web 2 to Web 3 as easy as possible.
I get it.
When you go switch over, there's different ways to create your wallet, right? It could be seed phrase, but one of the more popular ways we see is using the MPC way, which allows you to link your exchange account so that we can help you store one part of the key. Just in case you lose your phone, you lose something, we can help you recover, right? So it's easier. You pick and choose, you can choose, but it's easier once you have your wallet set up. And the use case, right? We talk about, it's also easier this way where you can transfer funds from your exchange, right? If you want to go play with NFTs, you can very quickly take your funds over, and then buy, and then you can store and you can check out all the marketplaces. What we have discovered is that, especially for new users that are coming from exchange, the exchange is like, oh, I can do everything here. But when I go to a Web3 wallet, you gave some examples earlier. I can go, let's say I download MetaMask. I heard my friend you. I also saw a very cool NFT project on Solana. Okay, now it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You need a Phantom. You need another.
Right. Okay. That's weird, right? It's like I tell you about this cool software. You gotta go buy a new phone to go use it, right? Thinking is that eventually we will get there, right? The Web3 world will also be interoperable, but that's what we're pushing hard on, is to build a wallet where users can do anything on any chain.
What about the numbers? How many users do you have in your Web3 wallet? Maybe if you can share it.
I don't know if we have revealed the latest numbers, but we have millions of users using it actively. Team's very happy with sort of the growth that we've seen. Well, some numbers I can share is we support 90 different blockchains on the chain.
90.
90.
Wow.
That's a lot. One interesting stat I took a look at over the last 6 months, you would think the most popular chains are, you can name them, right? The top ones. But what we saw was that at any given moment in time, 8 different blockchains were number 1 for a different period. So that means that users were moving from Solana to Ethereum to Bitcoin to Base to all of them. Then they were moving back and forth, using the bridges, using the swaps, and using some of the tools that are built into the app, which allow you to see everything across all the chains. Very, very much a lot of integration built in. So I think that's very cool. And I think at the end of the day, 2-3 years later, we will think a little bit less about, is this use case on Solana or is it on something else, right? Like,
it looks like you're a little bit excited with the Solana.
Solana is fun. I mean,
yeah. What do you think? Why it's so popular? Because from my perspective, let's say Bitcoin, this is a fully decentralized. Ethereum, it's like a builder for everything, and the Solana, this is like like a big computer that solves very common problems, and the more power they get to this computer, the faster it works. But it crashes all the time. It stops all the time. But what I saw in English space, also in Twitter, all these meme coins on a Solana. I think you saw the Book of Meme, smaller coin, Boba Opa. The guys raised tens of millions of dollars for nothing, and this all on Solana. And I see how the Digans, the guys who spend a lot of time in Ethereum and digging deep there, they started to move to Solana. What happened, man? Why Solana is so popular on this cycle?
Recently, there's been a lot of congestion. A lot of the transactions fail. They don't go through. You have to keep on hitting retry. But look, these things are good problems, I think.
This is the problems of growth.
These are problems of growth, right? You want these kinds of problems. You don't want the other problem is no one using it. What do we do, right?
Yeah, I get it.
This one is very interesting because I think there's an opportunity for the Solana teams and all the community to figure out how do we either allow for fees to be prioritized or not, or how do we make the nodes themselves a little bit more powerful. It's a good problem to have. And we've seen on our wallet also, which supports Solana, we've seen a lot of this activity too. The meme coin stuff, very popular, like you said. But I think it's more importantly, some of the applications on Solana, Jupiter, some of these DEXs.
They're growing faster.
Exactly. And the ecosystem is there, right? And which allows for these meme coin community members to come in and very quickly, if the transaction works, very quickly get involved. And you can start small, right? And the fees are relatively low. It's a great example of something that's trending well.
What is the focus market for the OKX exchange? I don't know, for the exchange. Well, where do you focus? Let's say in Asia or in CIS region, maybe in Europe or US, I don't know, Latin America.
We cover the globe really for OKX, with the exception of the US today. We did recently get our license here. We're in Dubai. In Dubai, right? UAE is going to be a region of focus for us very soon when we go live. We also got our license in Singapore earlier this year, conditional license. And so that's another region where we will continue to put resources into. Hong Kong is another one. So those are the Asia ones. In Europe, we're preparing for MiCA. There's new regulation coming.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, at the end of this year. Europe is obviously a big market. We're very excited about that. And then Brazil also, Turkey, Argentina. We've got a lot of areas where we have people on the ground. They're working hard to listen to our users, make sure our product works for the local users. And that's where we want to be, right? We want to build products that really work for local markets and, hopefully they enjoy it.
Can you clarify the situation with the USDT in the Europe? It was some type of announce that OKX maybe delist or turn off some products related to the USDT in Europe region. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit more details how it works or maybe what happened?
In Europe recently, we made some adjustments to the products that USDT serve.
Sure,
right?
This is 100% in my Europe.
Yeah.
But what exactly happened?
Just to be very clear, USDT is supported in Europe on our platform. It is 100% still there. If you go right now, I want to buy USDT, I have euros, I want to go buy USDT, easy. If you want to use USDT, quickly swap it to another token, any token really on the support, yeah, you can do that too. And so I think what was taken out of context was we did remove some USDT-based trading pairs. So these are the order book. You're a trader, but you understand that part.
I get it.
But the focus is to get users to come in, bring in their euros, right? And to get into crypto and that. So we're not saying don't use Tether. We're just saying this is where it is. It's in this part of the product. And I think that was where maybe there was some misunderstanding.
That's good, right, that you clarify it. Can you explain from the exchange view, what is the big difference between USDT and USDC? Maybe from exchange view, from your personal view. In the US, they use USDC mostly. In the Europe, we use USDT, and in Asia also. It looks like this is a different currencies for different regions, but for the exchange, how it works?
I think ultimately for stablecoins and for exchange assets or exchange support assets, we have to meet users where they are, right? Like you said, if users prefer to use one versus another, we will support that. Our job is to give users access to crypto. It's not our job to pick, I like that one better. No, you should not trade that one. Like, that's not my job.
The job of the exchange is to get users to crypto.
The reason why we exist is for that purpose. And obviously crypto products, right? And so, the wallet, the trading products, they're all because users want to use these features. We're not making things up because we just think that's fun for us, right? I think that's where we have to always start. And so, like you said, in Asia, if users want to use Tether, if US users want to use USDC, that's great. The marketplace is where it is. We will provide those venues for traders and end users to access them.
Can you tell me a little bit more about trading? Go to the futures and all this trading thing that are super popular in Europe, in the CIS region. Is this the focus for the OKX or not? Can you tell me a little bit more about this?
So on the exchange side, we have a lot of products. Futures is one of them. Perpetuals is one of them. We also have options, right? But not all of the exchange products are available to everyone. It depends on where they live. It depends on regulation, depends on what's suitable. That aside, I think we also have individual traders. We also have institutional traders. The tools that they want to trade and use on the exchange can really differ. We spend a lot of time making sure you look at things like our API documentation. We work on things like trading engine, obviously. We work on things like margin rules and liquidation rules. We try to improve all of these at once, right? But at the same time, you can't interfere with the trading experience too much, right? Because people are trading. You can't, you
cannot ignore it. From the innovation perspective, what are the latest innovation you implement in trading?
I think one thing that's very cool is our liquid marketplace.
Can you clarify it?
It's a very powerful tool where you or any institutional professional trader,
you can provide liquidity.
It's more like you can build your own trade. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Right now, there's a lot of basis yield, right? Yeah. People want to short futures and buy spot and capture the basis.
The difference, the basis.
Right, the basis, and that's a pretty common trade, I think, these days. Athena, right? That's what Athena does, right? For you to do it, you have to go to spot market, execute, and then you have to go to futures and try to execute the same amount.
And
but there's obviously some time lag, right? Like you can't do both at the same time, and the price has been moved. So it's not perfect. We actually have a name for this. We call it nitro spreads, where you can hit one button, type in the things, what you want, and it can execute both of them at the same time for you.
What is your profit commission for every trade, right? As an exchange.
It's the same. We take the trading fees.
The trading
fees is based on your account, right? The way it's done for you is much simpler. One button, you eliminate the execution risk and the pricing risk. This nitro spread product, which is basically a basis trading product, you can put on these strategies very quickly. You can pick which futures expiry, whatever you want to do. And then you can even do more. You can do things like, I want to do multiple tokens in one trade, whatever, build whatever you want. Go ahead and try it actually. Then you can do options, right? We talked about options. You could put options in there. It's think of it as like an engine, like a engine where you could just throw the pieces you want, click, and then you get the price. And okay, that's a good price. I will execute.
It's amazing. What can you say about the trend for the options? Because you know that in the traditional markets, the options covers 80% of the whole trading volume. But in a crypto field, at the same moment, the options, this is an instrument for professionals like institutional investors, like funds, etc. What do you think about the options for the retail in a crypto market? Is it possible to them to grow or to become a new futures or not? Because I think that from the trader side, the traders are a little bit exhausted with the futures.
You mean exhausted as in they're bored, or
they lost a lot of money. They're looking for something new. Also, know that Bybit, they try to implement the futures with the options hedge. Like when you open a long position, it opens a future. So I understand why, because if the trader lost 100% of the deposit, he's gone. But if he lost 85% of the deposit, he still has 5%.
I see.
And then he maybe had to top up. The lifetime of the traders, of the failure traders, I think will grow. This is my thoughts.
I don't know what they're working on specifically, but from our side, on the option side, I think ultimately it takes time for these markets to develop.
Sure.
I think in TradFi, the market structure is very, very different. The players are very different. The use cases for options are actually very different. I used to be in equity derivatives at an investment bank before crypto.
Oh, okay.
Even pension funds, they would use options to get a little bit of extra yield by writing options. We don't have these players in the crypto space yet. There's also other products in crypto that act like options, right? Like you mentioned the futures. We know about the perps, right? There are instruments where traders can already get the type of payouts and leverage that they want. And so the option market as a result hasn't quite developed yet. But just wait. I think we will see some. I was reading that people are working on options for the Bitcoin ETF, for example.
Well, that's what I want to ask. How Bitcoin ETF affects your business? Is it generate some new users or something like this? Or you did not see a difference after that?
For us, because we don't operate in the US, OKX,
not a lot changes.
Not that much change, but what we did see was a lot of the conversations we had with institutions. I think the tone has shifted. We've been talking to a lot of folk for a very long time, and I think as the ETF got closer, you could see that the mood was shifting, right? Like they finally think, oh, okay, maybe now it's okay, or I can do more. Globally, you actually see a lot of the spillover effects for that, right? You see other geographies working on ETFs products of their own, right? Europe has some. Hong Kong might launch one next week, I heard. These are all very positive because, we have clients that may either trade those or be a part of that ecosystem. When you're in the ETF, you have many players that support the issuance and maintenance and all that. So net, I think it's still very positive for the industry, but also for us.
I have a discussion with some of your top affiliates and on one of our podcasts, how we generate a lot of users to the OKX. He just told me, hey Nick, I just opened an OKX and the OKX pays me 52% for a USDC investment, AP annual return rate IRR, and around 42% for the USDT investment. I think you know this, when the funding rate was crazy, the exchanges pays around 40% annual rate for the coins. Can you explain the original of these rates? I know that this is a flexible rate, and 1 hour it was 10%, the other hour it was 30%, the third hour it was 42%. But that's crazy. When exchanges are ready to pay 40% annual rate, yes, in a short-term perspective, in a 2, 3, 4 weeks, for the just 2 clicks. So you can invest with a 30% annual return in just 2 clicks on an exchange. It scares me. Like, oh, maybe these guys doesn't have enough liquidity in one way. In other ways, okay, maybe they don't use my liquidity in all their things. That's good. If you're familiar with these things, what is the origin of these rates?
I think it's important to look at, I think actually for your users too, to understand where those numbers come from. If I'm understanding you correctly, you're talking about the margin rates, right?
Margin rate. I'm talking about the product called growth.
Yes. So within that, you can choose a simple.
Yeah. In a simple,
so that's
fully flexible.
We can double check this if I'm understanding correctly. Is that what's happening is that there are users that will deposit USDT or USDC and get the yield. But on the other side, there are traders that are trying to borrow to trade. So they are the ones paying the users. We don't do that. We don't lend money. We don't borrow money. The platform doesn't do any of that. So whenever you're seeing rates like that, if it's not a DeFi staking,
it's a futures,
then almost certainly it's a users matching. So if there's not, and the rates get high when there's not enough, a lot of people want to borrow, but there's not enough people depositing. That's typically when the rate goes higher. And that's why you can actually kind of see it with the market.
This exactly. Going like this.
Yes. And you see the market is like, people are not interested. They don't need the dollars anymore. Then the rate goes down because they don't borrow as much. And therefore the balance is now shifted. That's how it works. That's where that number comes from. So we don't set it. We don't do anything with it. It's really just the market and demand. Yeah, exactly.
So what are the main focus for the OKX? I mean, maybe it's futures, it's Web3 wallet. What are the main focus right now? In different regions, it looks like you have different focuses, but let's say in Asia and in Europe.
Maybe I can talk a little bit about what I focus on. Because we do so many things, it's hard to say like there's one thing we focus on. We try to take a fairly long-term approach to what we do. So it's not like this year is so different from last year. We've been doing the same thing really, which is trying to build better products, work with all of our stakeholders, listen to our users, right? Try to be transparent, try to be open about what we do and be accountable for it, right? Like that's all we're doing. So it's more of the same this year. Two things I want to highlight is we've been working on this proof of reserves product for a while.
I heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, you're familiar with it?
I heard about these days. This is some type of metric that measures how much I can trust to the exchange.
Okay,
right?
I think that's roughly maybe true. Yeah. Broadly, it's as simple as when you deposit any Bitcoin, ETH, whatever,
you need
USD
to be sure
into the exchange, right? Proof of reserves shows you where the money is. That's it. It's as simple as that. So when you deposit one Bitcoin into your deposit address and others deposit, you can go to our proof of reserves page and you can see the on-chain, you can see where that Bitcoin is. So if there's 10 Bitcoin between us and it's sitting on OKX, it's sitting somewhere, right? The 10 Bitcoin has to be somewhere and we will show you. It's right there.
So you show that you grow the transparency. You show
it's
where
a very
the money goes to.
Exactly. It's a transparent tool for you to verify that your own assets are not taken by us.
I get it.
Yeah, that is the key, I think, really key thing that we've pushed for the past 2 years, especially after
the FTX
and all that, right?
Not to mention it, but yeah, I get it.
Right. That's very powerful because we now have expanded that to cover 23, 24 different cryptocurrencies. I think that tool is going to be something that's going to be ultimately required by regulation.
So you mostly built it for the regulation because for the regular users, it looks like maybe not nobody, but a few % of the people.
Actually, a lot of people have checked it. You can go, individual users can go check it. Yes, not everyone go check it because it's a little bit technical, but I think the most important thing is anyone can check it on behalf of anyone else too. So, if one person's funds are starting to, that doesn't look right, that's a red flag, right?
That's a red flag.
And they can obviously tell anyone else and everyone else can go check their own. And, it's things like that. And so I think for us, that transparency is super important. It's not actually required by regulation right now. It's something that I personally think it will be because it's so powerful, right? Same for any financial institution that holds assets. Why would they not show you where it is? I think that's pretty important in the future, right?
It's cool.
That's one of the cool things for our industry. And then the second thing that we're really focused on is growing our Web3 products. We talked about the wallet. We talked about how powerful it is. We think we still have a lot of work to do to make it easier to use, right? You said maybe we will launch a separate app, maybe to make sure you don't accidentally switch. Maybe, we have other announcements down the road. But that side of our business is growing very quickly, and we're keen to put more investments into it.
What about you personally? Why you decided to choose traditional finances to the crypto? You are the crypto enthusiast, or you're excited with the technology? You are following, new trends? What is your motivation?
I think I got lucky, number one.
Really?
But I did not switch from TradFi directly into crypto. I actually left TradFi in 2013, and went to do a startup of my own. It wasn't until I learned about crypto during that time, but it wasn't until 2016 when I was like, okay, I want to go professionally join crypto. And I think part of that was, at first, maybe for most people, crypto sounds crazy, right? Like after a while, you learn a little bit more and you can see the opportunities and you can see that there's things to do here. I ultimately joined OK 8 years ago.
What do you think about the, let's say, deeper motivation? Why people decided to join crypto from day to day? We see that the number of the crypto users is growing, the number of the exchanges is growing. What is their deepest motivation? What people are following for?
Give me an example. Which group are you talking about?
I don't know. It's like I do a podcast. This is quite popular. It means that more and more people want to be involved in crypto. What do you think? Why crypto is so not addicted but becomes more and more popular?
Your show is growing, right?
Also, you have 50 million of users because 2022, I think you have, I don't know, maybe.
But maybe because people want to really see you. Maybe they want to really hear you. Maybe that's why. No, joking aside, crypto means a lot of different things for different people. I was in Argentina last month, and clearly crypto there is a little different.
Because they have a high inflation.
Right,
also
they have high inflation.
They have the same problem. They want to just to save their money.
Exactly. So that's a little different than I would like memes, right? I want to have fun with my friends. That's different also to others that think, NFTs are something really fun and, Web3 games may be something fun, right? So I think there's a lot of different use cases. There's obviously people that like to trade crypto also. I think it's a very personal question. For me, at least, what I'm very interested to see is actually Web3 gaming. I think this year might have a very interesting opportunity. There's a lot of, from what I can tell, a lot of big games that are finally going to get launched. They've been working on it for a few years. We recently partnered with a protocol called Immutable, and they're gaming focused platform, and we're partnering with them to make sure that Web3 games have a place for their NFT asset. Users can discover that.
Can you make your own definition of Web3 game?
Game is loose, right? It depends how you have fun there. But more importantly, a game that has any element that involves, whether it's crypto, whether it's Web3 mechanics or Web3 tooling, I think those all can be part of it.
Notcoin. Is it a game?
Yeah, I would say so.
What do you think the effect of the Notcoin to the whole industry?
I don't know too much about Notcoin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did check it out.
Wow.
I pushed the button. I didn't quite get it. Are you playing it?
Yeah, a little bit. Also, I have a podcast with the two founders of the Notcoin, and I'm inspired how they excited with the true transparency and decentralization of the tokens.
Perfect, right? Like, so if you're able to bring transparency using either by putting things on chain or using any sort of tools that are maybe number generator, I don't know how that exactly the Notcoin system works, but if you can put all that stuff on chain and enable that level of transparency, I think that's a great use case of a Web3 game, right? Like that's objectively different than it being sitting on someone's server.
I want to show you one game. This is the game Hamster Combat. It will be interesting. Maybe you can check it. This is a hamster. You can just put it and you collect money, but in that case, you see, you can choose an exchange, OKX, Bybit, etc. And then you become a CEO of this exchange. And then you made a promotion of it. Like you can advertise on Instagram with your money and it will generate you more revenue. You can go to the legal and invest in legal opinion on North America market.
So you're running an exchange.
Yeah.
That
you're running
funny.
an exchange. This is fun, I think. Also, you can invite your friends and you can solve some task getting coins, and then it will be some type of drop for this. What do you think? This is an example of a good game.
It seems like people are having fun.
For the last 2 weeks, it grows from 0 to 2.5 million users.
Amazing.
Less than 2 weeks. And I hope that this type of product helps this industry to grow and helps to provide you more and more users.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not just about our users. It's about just more people having fun, hopefully understanding that the benefits of what a Web3 game might be, right? So in this case, if they put all that on chain,
okay.
I don't know what the coin is on that.
I don't know. They didn't announce it yet.
Okay. So right now it's not a Web3 game. Right now it's a Web2 game.
I get it. That's why.
Yeah. Right now it's a Web2 game.
Yeah, but once they will create a coin, it will become a Web3 game.
That's where it could potentially be powerful. I don't have time to play all those games, but it looks like that, if they've gotten such quick growth, it must be good.
The Binance has a BNB. Does OKX has, blockchain token or something like this?
We have OKB for the OKX ecosystem, yeah.
What do you think about TON and this new trend? I know that you're excited with Solana and all these things that happen there, but what about the TON? Do you think this have a chances to become the next Solana? I don't know, but yes, in different way for different tasks, but... I
think TON with the Telegram app and all the native things that we just discussed that. I think it's a very, very powerful way to get people interested in learning and using crypto. So I think there's a lot of promise for TON. I think there's new games coming out. We'll see how that does over the medium term. But I think there's a very, very strong use case for TON. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not super familiar, but I think I can see some really good good signs.
Do you invest in crypto or do you trade? Because I know that I have a discussion with Binance guys, and they told me that they don't allow it to trade, for example. Maybe can you share something interesting?
For us, especially when there's new tokens, we're not allowed to touch anything that's new or that we might have any sort of sensitive information to. But for me anyways, I'm so busy all the time. I just kind of buy and hold. I'm more of a dollar cost average kind of person. You know, I like some of the main coins and I'll put a little bit and just over time. That luckily has paid off for me so far.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been okay. You could always buy more, right? Earlier, maybe with hindsight, regret a little bit, but it's okay. I think it also keeps my stress pretty low.
Oh, really? I get it.
We're already so busy, right? And it's like, I can't also check the price and also worry about all this stuff. So
what is the number one product that in your focus right now?
Bitcoin halving is coming.
Yes.
And
yesterday we saw a big crash, and 2 days ago we saw a big crash again.
Yes, I mean, some of that is external, right?
How it will affect your business?
Look, we focus on crypto. As long as we think, again, back to our focus, which is long term, we want to build better access into crypto, and that's it. This stuff it'll always fluctuate. I've been in the industry for 8 years now. We've seen ups and downs. I think our long term hypothesis has not changed at all. But more exciting this time because the Bitcoin halving is coming in 5 days. There's also some things that are being launched on Bitcoin in 5 days. So there's a RUNE's protocol that a lot of people are very excited about that's launching and going live right after the halving. I think that's something to keep an eye on, perhaps.
With all these runes, etc. So now you can store these runes in your Web3 wallet.
Absolutely. You can store, you can buy, you can trade, you can do all that within the wallet when it goes live. That's what we're keeping an eye on. We'll see how it goes.
To be honest, I want to buy some of the runes, but this day the Magic add-in, the marketplace, the way I can buy it. I don't know why, but it doesn't work. I also cannot create a wallet on the Magic add-in. Does it mean that I can create a Web2 wallet inside the OKX, then connect it to the third-party marketplace NFT and buy these?
So when you set up your OKX Web3 wallet, you can actually buy things you see on Magic Eden also.
It's from connected. The wallet?
Yeah, from the wallet. Yeah, it's integrated. You can go see it. Or you could obviously go to their website and connect your OKX wallet also. So you can absolutely try that and hopefully that works.
You sold me a Web3 OKX wallet. I will do it immediately after our podcast.
Give it a try. Let me know what you think.
I will do it. Yeah. I think it's very excited because I was not really. I opened it several times, but every time I opened it, it's bored. I don't want to set it up, something like this.
Maybe we need to work harder on that then. But I would love your feedback. Give it a try. Let me know your feedback, or your users have feedback. Let me know. We can improve it.
What can you recommend to the guys that just will be involved in crypto only in 2024?
Only in 2024. This is same advice for people even before is you have to take some time to understand what you're getting into. If you come in with the mindset of, I heard someone got rich, this looks, very, very fun. I think that is good for a little while maybe, and you'll have some, but I think ultimately you want to hopefully get a chance to dive in and learn about what makes Web3 different. We talked about transparency, we talked about self-ownership, we talked about all these things, and whether that's meaningful for you, right? We talked about the users in Argentina. That's meaningful for them because
they need to save their money.
They need to save their money. Like, that's a different choice, but maybe we're more lucky, and maybe it's just a game, right? Maybe it's just a game that's a little bit different and maybe better than the other examples, Web2 game examples. Crypto, Web3 it's kind of like the internet, right? What does it mean for you is different than for me because it's just a technology at the end of the day. Hopefully for us as a business, OKX, we can help expose and help you get access to the things that people build.
Guys, we are done for today. Do what you like to do because you are the only person that can change the world.